Department of Justice released publicly on Friday are no longer available on the DOJ website. Among them, an image of a credenza drawer that held what appeared to be two photos of President Trump. Now, the DOJ has not responded to ABC's request for comment. This comes as backlash continues to grow over the DOJ's partial release of the Epstein files. Congressman Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna have said they are considering possible impeachment proceedings for failing to comply with the law. Deputy AG Todd Blanche responding to that threat. Take a listen.
Bring it on. We are doing everything we're supposed to be doing to comply with this statute.
All right, ABC investigative reporter Olivia Rubin joins us now with the latest. Olivia, what do we know about the files that have been removed, and what do we know about why those files have been removed?
Well, this is one of the number of criticisms that the Department of Justice is facing right now over critics and advocates for Epstein survivors over its release of the files. First being that they were not all released, of course, as we know, as the law said. Also, some of the documents were heavily redacted. There was actually one document that the Department of Justice reposted after it was overly redacted, as the Justice Department says, for taking care for the redactions. But these photos, this is over a dozen photos that were actually pulled down, seemingly no longer available on the website where all of these files are being posted. The main one you referenced, it shows what appears to be a credenza in the home of Jeffrey Epstein. There's a number of photos strewn across it, but in the drawer that's sort of open and pulled out, you can see what appear to be two photos of President Trump right there on your screen, I believe is what one of those overly redacted documents were there. But again, it seemed to be President Trump inside of that drawer. It was actually like one of the only appearances of President Trump in the documents that were released by the Justice Department. That's no longer available. Critics, of course, are saying, you know, what happened here? House Oversight Democrats saying, in their words, what else is being covered up? Something to that effect. But the Department of Justice saying very clearly, Todd Blanche saying that this was not about President Trump, but like about protecting possible victims, seemingly indicating that there might be some redaction issues in the over a dozen photos that were pulled down. I believe we have a shot of him. Take a listen.
It has nothing to do with President Trump. There are dozens of photos of President Trump already released to the public, seeing him with Mr. Epstein. He has said that in the 90s and early 2000s, he socialized with him. So the absurdity of us pulling down a photo, a single photo, because President Trump was in it, is laughable.
Of course, that was not only the only photo that was pulled down. There were others. Blanche goes on to say that it was because of questions about redactions and possible victims. He does say that the photos will be put back up pending any more possible redactions. And of course, the big question is, when will the rest of the documents be released? Blanche saying in a letter to Congress that it will be on a rolling production as they continue to work through the redactions, saying that they could come in the next 2 weeks, Ike.
All right, Olivia Rubin, thank you for that update.